Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Rohit and I'm very excited to launch my new Mastering Nuclei for Automation to do pen testing and bug bounties course for you. In this course, we are going to first understand and learn about the lab setup, in which we are going to see how you can quickly set up nuclei and nuclei templates into your own system. In the next part of the course, we are going to explore nuclei and what are the more functions that we have in nuclei. This will help us increase our efficiency while we use this tool. With this course, you also learn about how you can write a custom template. So we would be learning and doing a breakdown of a nuclei template step by step, block-wise. We would also write custom templates for unique vulnerabilities that we identify so that we can mass scale these vulnerabilities on different bug bounty programs that can help you achieve quick wins. With this course, we also learn about what are workflows. So writing a workflow is super useful for us because this way we keep sending the request at a minimum level so that we do not overwhelm any server. While we do technology detection, we only require to run a specific templates in a form of a workflow on that specific target. With this course, we also learn about how you can set up nuclei with Burp Suite to do examinations of each request and response that you are sending to any specific target. We would also install the nuclei extension in our Burp Suite proxy tool that helps us create new nuclei templates on the fly. With this course, you also get new tips and techniques that helps you identify vulnerabilities. Also, I would be sharing my personal templates that I have written so far while doing pen testing engagements and bug bounty programs that will help you achieve more success while you are hunting on programs. Along with this course, you get 24/7 support. That means if you come across any questions or queries, you can feel free to post it into the Q&A section. My team will reply to you in 24 hours. I wish you all the best and have a great learning experience with this course. Thank you. Hello everyone and welcome to this course of nuclei for pen testing and bug bounties. So let's understand about what nuclei is. So nuclei is a template-based automation vulnerability scanner with 0 false positives. The tool is written in Go language and it is easily customizable with the help of the nuclei templates. What are some of the features of this tool? As I said, we can quickly customize and write templates on the fly, which can be used for vulnerability identification and mass hunting on different bug bounty programs as well. You can create your own templates that you can also use in CI/CD pipeline in your organization too. Nuclei also supports HTTP, DNS, TCP, and file-based templates as well. So how does nuclei work? For nuclei to work, you need to supply a template to the tool. Also, you need to specify the target that you want to run nuclei on. The format to do that is nuclei-u, which means the URL that you want nuclei to run onto. You can also specify your specific template that you want to run onto that specific target. So let us first see how you can install nuclei into your system. The easiest way is installing it using Go. As you can see, the command is written in front of you on the screen. The second way is installing nuclei using Brew for Mac OS based systems. The third is installing nuclei into a Docker. So it's a practical time and let's quickly see how you can set up nuclei into your system. I'm going to go on to the official repository of nuclei, which is this, made by the project discovery team. I'm going to scroll down and see the installation steps. As you can read clearly, nuclei requires Go 1.18 to run. If you don't have Go installed into your system, just simply download Go. I'm going to go on the official website of Go. Here you can see you can download Go for your system. You can choose Linux, Mac OS, or Windows for your supported operating system. I already have Go installed into my computer, so I'm going to go ahead, copy this line and paste it onto my terminal. Once I hit enter, it will install Nuclei, the latest version, from its GitHub repository and successfully give me a message that it has been installed. After this step has been done, we will run nuclei-h, which stands for the help menu, which will show us if Nuclei has been successfully installed or no. As we can see over here, the latest version of Nuclei that is currently running is 2.7.9. We'll verify that as well after installation has been successfully completed. This is one of the way of installing Nuclei using the go lang command. There are other alternatives as well. You can simply go to the releases tab, and you can also download the compatible version for your system from the assets as well, which can be seen over here. Let's go back to our terminal and let's wait for this to complete. As you can see now, Nuclei has successfully been installed. So let's quickly type Nuclei and hit enter. And you can see it has been installed successfully. So I hope you were able to follow the same instructions and would be able to set up Nuclei into your systems. Thank you. Hello and welcome to this video. So now we are going to see how you can set up Nuclei templates into your system. Nuclei templates are the core of the Nuclei scanner, which means without the templates, the tool wouldn't run properly. What exactly are Nuclei templates? These templates are YAML based template files. There are different blocks into these files that you can write to create a successful valid template. In the future course of action of this course, we are going to see how you can also write your own Nuclei templates that you can run on different targets for the bug bounty programs. Most of the Nuclei templates that you find on the official GitHub repository by the project discovery team are community contributed. That means most of the security researchers and bug bounty hunter has contributed in the development of the Nuclei templates. And you can also do that. So how to install these templates? In the practical time, we are going to see how you quickly can set up and install these templates into your system. So I'm going to go to the official repository of Nuclei templates, which can be seen over here. The latest version of the Nuclei templates is currently 9.2.9. You can also see what are the changes that have been done in this version of the template, and you can see new templates which have been added are 45, and these are the specific changes. If you scroll down, you can see the total number of templates that have been added category wise and tag wise. For example, in the CVE tag, we have in total 1538 templates, panel, XSS, LFI, CVEs, etc. So let us quickly set up this. So I'm going to git clone these templates on my terminal. To do that, I'm going to type git clone in the path that we have just copied and hit enter. The other way of doing this is clicking on download zip, and this will also download the Nuclei templates into your local computer. In the recent updates of Nuclei, Nuclei templates automatically get downloaded when you run Nuclei on any specific target. But this can also be an alternative of downloading the updated templates from the official repository into your local system that you can run onto your bug bounty programs. As you can see, this has been successfully completed. So I'm just going to hit ls and I'm going to go inside the directory, which is nuclei-templates. These are all the templates that we saw on the official GitHub repo that have been now downloaded into my local system. As you can see, the templates have been categorized based on different categories like CVEs, misconfiguration, takeovers, fuzzing, helpers, etc. In the future videos, we are going to see how effectively you can utilize these templates to run on any bug bounty program. Thank you. Hello everyone. So in this lesson, we are going to understand what are the commands of Nuclei that you can run onto your terminal. As you can see, when you supply nuclei-h, which is the help menu, you would be able to see the flags that you can use along with the Nuclei tool. So what are the basic things that you require for Nuclei to run on any target? You can specify templates along with the Nuclei command for any specific template that you want to run onto that URL. To do that, you need to specify -t in the template path. If you don't do that, Nuclei will by default start running all the templates on the target. that isn't a good practice because it could create an overwhelming amount of requests on the target that we do not want to do initially. The second option is the workflows, through which you can specify the workflows that you want to run onto a target that we would see on the later part of this lesson. So it's the practical time, and let's quickly jump on and run Nuclei on one specific URL. So I'm onto my terminal and I'm going to supply Nuclei to a target. To do that, I'm going to say nuclei-u and the target name. For testing purposes, I'm going to use testphp.woolenweb.com. Keep in mind, Nuclei takes the target as an input with a protocol. That means you need to supply if the target runs HTTP or HTTPS, without which the tool wouldn't run. Now, I'm also going to specify a specific template or a folder or a path of the specific templates for a category. As we know that we have downloaded the Nuclei templates locally, I'm going to specify a path of technologies template that I want to run onto this specific target and hit enter. When I do that, this is the output that you would see onto your screen. As you can see, Nuclei has successfully detected these three findings, which can be seen in front of you. This is the timestamp. This is the specific finding, which is for HTTP type. The vulnerability that has been identified is of informational category or informational severity, identified on which specific target. So we can see it was PHP which was detected on this target, and the version of PHP is 5.6.40. We can also see Nginx is also detected on this specific target, and the version of Nginx which has been found is Nginx 1.19.0. I'm going to stop this now. So this is the quick and the simplest way of running Nuclei onto any specific target. Now we need to see how did Nuclei identify that this specific target is running Nginx. Also, how did it identify that it is running Nginx version 1.19.0? To do that, we need to inspect and see the template that has identified this specific issue. We are going to see the specific template now and understand how come Nuclei was able to detect successfully the specific version as well. So this is it for this lesson. We'll jump onto the next lesson and understand in depth. Thank you. Hello everyone and welcome to this lesson. So now we are going to identify and see how Nuclei was able to detect that the target is running Nginx version which is 1.19.0. To do that, I can see the specific template that was used for detecting the Nginx version. So I'm going to run that specific template only, which is inside the technologies path. Let's go ahead and see the Nginx version template, which can be seen over here, Nginx version.yml. I'm going to specify -debug and -v and hit enter. By specifying -debug, I'm able to see exactly what is the HTTP request that is being sent to the target and what is the HTTP response that has been received from the target. Let me scroll up and let's inspect the HTTP request first. You can see a HTTP GET based request was sent. You can also read it from here, HTTP request sent for that specific target. We can see we received a 200 OK response, which has been highlighted due to the template, which we are going to quickly look right now. You can also see the server is Nginx 1.19.0. So we can confirm from here now that the HTTP response that has been received from this specific target contains the Nginx version 1.19.0, which has been identified and given us. You can also see there are two things which have been highlighted over here. The first is the status, which is the status code which was matched, which is 200 OK, and a regex one, which is Nginx version 1.19.0. Let us go on the target and let us quickly go to the inspect. Let's go to the network tab and reload this target. Let's click on the first request and let's try to inspect the request and the response that has been sent. Here you can see the request headers and here you can see the response headers as well. If you look very carefully, you can see the exact same information can be found here as well. That means Nuclei was successfully able to identify Nginx version from the header, which is server, and was able to regex and extract the exact version, which is 1.19.0, which gave us the output in front of our screen, as can be seen over here. We are going to understand how Nuclei did this with the help of the template, which is Nginx version.yml, in the future course of action, wherein we are also going to understand that how you can also modify these templates and write your own templates for matching more specific regexes from the HTTP response that you get from your target. So that's it for this lesson. Thank you. All right, so hello everyone. So in the previous lesson, we have seen how we were able to run a Nuclei version detect template onto our target, which helped us identify the specific Nginx version for the specific URL that we supplied. Now, let's see the template of how it works. We are going to see in depth about how you can write your own templates as well, based on different blocks. But let us get a quick overview about this template. So you can see over here, the template has an ID block, which is Nginx version, has an info block, which you can see has these details like name, author, severity, description, and tags, has a request block, which specifies the method of the HTTP request that is going to be sent. It could be get, post, etc. The base URL that is going to be supplied. Remember, the base URL is the URL of your target that you supply on the command line to Nuclei. The matches condition is AND, which means there are going to be two conditions for Nuclei to be matching. The matches condition is AND, that means there were two conditions that should match successfully to give you an output. The matches block says there should be a type regex, which means we want to extract something from the header. The regex is Nginx/029 dot. Then we are going to match something in the status, which is the status code, which should be 200 OK. And finally, the extractors. Due to extractors, we were able to extract that information which we have matched previously and show it as an output on our terminal. And we can see we are extracting the Nginx version based on the regex from the header. Let's go back over here and we can see we were able to extract the Nginx version from the header. Let us now also extract the PHP version, as we can see over here. So let us quickly write a quick template to see if we can also write a valid template to extract this information. So I'm going to go back over here and I'm going to copy this template as a base template right now. So I'm going to copy the raw version of this template and I'm going to paste it into any editor that you have. I'm going to use Sublime. I'm going to paste it over here. Let us save this with a name. Let's give a name as php detect.yml. Now, let us modify that. This time we don't want to match Nginx, but we are interested in identifying the PHP version. So let's change this to PHP. We also want to extract the PHP version from there. Also, let's modify the template name. Let's call it as PHP version detect this time. Let's modify this as well, and let's keep everything else as it is. And I think it's good to go. Now keep in mind, whenever you create templates or modify existing templates, you might create mistakes in the template. So this is one of the very good resource that you can go and check if your template contains any error or no. I'm going to hit go and check. If you see a green message like this, which says valid YML, that means your template is correct to be used. Do not worry, we are going to understand more about template creation in depth in the future sessions. I'm going to copy this template right now. I'm going to go to my terminal and I'm going to create a file called as php-detect.yml. There's already a template, so I'm going to delete everything from here quickly and paste what we have created just now. Now I'm going to run this template on my target and hit enter. We are expecting this template to run correctly and extract out the PHP version for us. And you can see the template has successfully run correctly. The first rechecks has matched correctly. PHP version 5.6.40. Let's verify if this information is correct. And you can see PHP version 5.6.40 is absolutely correct, which means the first template that we created as a baseline to identify the PHP version was correct. The second matcher condition was the status code, which has matched correctly as well. Let us scroll up and see this. You can see it has been highlighted in green color what we are currently trying to match. This was the HTTP request that was sent. Similarly, this was the HTTP response that we received and correctly matched the matcher condition that we gave in our template. I hope you guys understood this, that how you can quickly write your first template, validate the template from YML lint, and then run it onto your target. It is so useful and super simple to write your templates like this. Also, you can add complex templates as well that can help you automate most of your works while you are doing research on your bug bounty programs. Thank you. Hello everyone. So in this lesson, we are going to see how you can use Nuclei filters. So the first filter is tags. Now tags is a super useful filter if you want to run specific set of templates automatically onto a given target. The second filter is severity. If you're only interested in running high, medium, low, or critical severity based templates, you can also specify that with the help of severity filter. The third one is the author filter. If you're only interested in running those templates which have been written by you or by a specific author, you can also specify that too. So it is the practical time, and let's quickly jump into and see how you can use these three filters that we have learned just now. So I'm on the official repository of Nuclei templates right now. I'm going to scroll down. You can see the tag over here. So you can see in the tag XSS, there are around 537 templates that have been created. I'm going to go to my terminal quickly, and I'm going to run these templates now. I'm going to specify the path of the template, and I'm going to say -tags, and the tags is XSS. Now, Nuclei will automatically pick up all the XSS based templates and start running it automatically on the provided target, which is this. You can see over here, the templates which have been loaded for scan is 488. This way, you can specify specific templates that you want to run on specific targets. We have seen how we wrote a quick PHP based templates in which you saw the tags block. Now this block is very, very useful, and you can specify the tags that you want. For example, this currently has tech and nginx. That means I can specify tech, which means tech detection templates that I want to run onto a specific target. Or if I know a target is running nginx, I would specify the tag as tags nginx. This way you can run specific set of templates on that target. Let's go back to our terminal, and you can see this has completed and no XSS results were found, although we ran all the XSS based templates on this target. Let us see the next filter that you can use, which is author. Let's go back over here and let's try to search for some templates that I have written and contributed. When I search this, you can see in total 12 code results. You can see a template which is Django debug detect, AEM detect, WordPress, WordFence, WAF bypass, Moodle XSS, Concrete XSS, etc. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to specify Hacker Gotham and hit enter. Now this would only run those templates that I have written, as you can see over here, which have been running currently on this specific target. This can be super useful when you only want to run the templates that have been written by you or a specific author on a target. You can also specify the filter, which is severity. Let's say I want to run all the low severity based templates automatically. That can be done as well. You can see in total 259 templates have been loaded successfully from the entire Nuclei templates with severity as low and are being currently running. Here you can see we can specify the severity. The PHP detection template that we created has the severity info, but currently I'm running the low severity templates automatically on this target. For any low issues, it would be detected and shown over here. This way, you can bifurcate severity based on your templates and run that onto a target. Also, you can specify multi-levels of severity as well. For example, low and medium only with the help of comma and hit enter. You can see the templates have been increased this time. We had 259 templates when we specified the severity as low, but when we supplied severity as low and medium, the templates increased to 1028. So I hope you guys understood how you can use these filters very effectively while you're running Nuclei onto your target. Thank you. Hello and welcome to this lesson. In this lesson, we are going to understand how you can rate limit your request when you're using this powerful tool like Nuclei. It could be overwhelming sometimes when you're scanning a lot of hosts and running a lot of templates on a target, due to which the target might go unnecessarily down, or if there is a WAF, it might also block you, due to which you would not be able to further perform any testing on that target until the cooling off period has been loaded. Now to avoid that, you can also tune Nuclei as per your choice. As you can see over here, there are 3 different options or flags that you can use in Nuclei to tune your request. The first is the rate limit, which controls the number of requests that you want to send per second to any specific given target. The second is bulk size, which controls the number of parallel hosts that you want to run simultaneously. For example, if you have a list of subdomains, let's say 100, you control the parallel number of hosts that you want to test with Nuclei. This would avoid the target to be getting overwhelmed for all the subdomains coming the request from your IP address, which would avoid blocking. The third one is the C flag, which is the concurrent templates that you want to run onto a target. It's the practical time, and let's see how we can use these options practically. So I'm onto the official repository of Nuclei, and I'm going to first quickly search for rate limit. So you can see over here in the rate limit option, we can see the rate limit flag says the maximum number of requests to be sent per second is default 150. You can tune this to be more or less as well. The next option is bulk size. Before doing that, let's run rate limit on our target. So this time I'm going to specify that I want to run a severity low, and also I want to rate limit my request to 50 only and hit enter. You can see over here it has started scanning, but this would take more time as I have rate limited the request per second that needs to be sent to the target. This can be useful if the target is unable to handle a lot of requests that you are sending at once to that specific target. Let us see the next flag, which is bulk size, which says the maximum number of hosts that you want to analyze in parallel per template. By default is 25. You can increase that count as well. So I'm going to specify bulk size as 2 and hit enter. Now let us see the third option, which is the concurrency. Concurrency can be super useful for you if you want to execute a lot of templates on a target in parallel. Definitely yes, this can be much faster for Nuclei to complete the scan and give you an output quickly, but it could also send a huge request on that target. By default, Nuclei only executes 25 templates in parallel, but you can tune that as well. So I'm going to specify -C, and I'm going to say execute 50 templates in parallel. This could be much faster, and I would be getting the scan completed very quickly. Let us specify this to 500 and hit enter. Keep in mind that this concurrency would consume much more system resources. So do not specify very high number of concurrency for your scan, or it would consume a lot of resources in your system. I hope you guys understood. Thank you. Hello everyone, and welcome to this lesson. So now we are going to understand about Nuclei traffic tagging. It is very, very important for the bug bounty programs as well to know what specific traffic you are sending to what program. It becomes essential sometime to identify and track down your request that you might have sent while you are trying to exploit a specific vulnerability. This also helps to track if you identified a vulnerability but is not reproducible at a point of time. The program manager or the triger can still know that you are the one who successfully exploited it once from the requests. So you can use Nuclei traffic tagging feature that can be super useful, and I recommend everyone to do that. You can set your custom traffic using the flag -h or header. One of the example has been shown over here, which is I'm supplying a custom header called as user agent Mozilla-Hacktify. So it's the practical time, and let us see how you can do this and implement it practically. Before we do that, let's see this Yahoo bug bounty program on HackerOne. Here you can see they have clearly mentioned, please include a custom HTTP header in all your traffic. Burp and other proxies allow this to be done automatically. Report us what header you have set so we can identify the outbound request from your system that has been received by the bug bounty program. And many other bug bounty programs as well request you to do that, so it becomes easy for them to identify your request based on traffic tagging. You can see here, you can specify the identifier as your username in the format which is X bug bounty header, HackerOne, and the specific username that you are using. You can also use a unique identifier like a SHA-256 hash, a unique identifier, or a tool name that you are using. Let us see the same thing that how you can do with the help of Nuclei. Now to check this, I'm going to use a request catcher, which is at bugbounty.requestcatcher.com. All of you can use this resource free of cost. Now this is a demo server which is waiting to receive request whenever we try to interact with this. I'm going to go quickly to my terminal and I'm going to send a request here now. Let's say we send a request which is test and hit enter. You can see request was caught successfully. Let's go back here, click on the request that has been caught currently. You can see the request came to a test endpoint and the user agent that was used was curl 7.84.0. This is the user agent which was sent by curl. Now let's do the same thing with the help of Nuclei as well. So I'm going to specify the URL currently. Let's say we send a request to a new endpoint which is test1. We use a specific template that we want to send because we do not want to send a lot of requests this time. So let's use the same template, which is inside the technologies, Nginx version.yml. We are also going to specify a header that we are going to use right now. Let's say the header be a user agent. Let's say Mozilla. And let's keep something custom over here. Let's say Hacktify_hacker is testing currently this target. All looks good. I'm going to send a request right now. So Nuclei is running the template right now, which is Nginx version.yml with a custom header that we have specified, which is Hacktify hacker. Let's go back over here and see what has happened. You can see we have successfully received a request with a custom user agent that we supplied, which is Hacktify hacker along with the user agent header. Now this becomes super useful for you that you can tag your outbound HTTP traffic, which can be super useful for bug bounty program triagers as well. So I hope you understood how to do this. Thank you. So in this lesson, we are going to learn about Nuclei excluding templates. Now sometimes you do not want to run a specific set of templates on a target. You can exclude that based on a flag which is -exclude templates or -et. You can also exclude specific tags that you don't want to run on a target. Let's say if you don't want to test a target for XSS, you can specify -e tags as XSS and it will not run all the XSS based templates on a specific given target. You can also exclude severity to be run on a target. For instance, I'm not interested in identifying the informational based vulnerabilities on a target. I'm only interested in identifying all the vulnerabilities apart from info. You can mention that in the exclude severity filter. So it's the practical time, and let's quickly see how you can do this practically. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to run Nuclei quickly on our target, which is http://testphp.volenweb.com. Now we are going to specify the template path. This time I want to exclude a template, so I'm going to say ET. We can also see this over here, so I'm going to say exclude templates, which is by the flag, which is ET. So you exclude a template, or you can also exclude a template directory as well. So I'm going to say don't run this specific template, which is nuclei-templates technologies nginx version.yml, and hit enter. Now Nuclei will by default run all the templates apart from the template which is nginx detect. As you can see over here, testphp.volenweb.com is running nginx, but we are not able to see that here in the output. Why? Because we have excluded the template from the scan. Let's use the second feature, which is exclude severity. You can see we got a PHP detect, the template that we also created recently, but the severity is info. So I'm going to exclude the severity this time by -es, and I'm going to say I do not want informational severity issues. So previously we had around 4058 templates that we ran, but this time it got reduced to 2617 templates only, which means we are not running the templates that have informational severity. Let's run e-tags as well this time. So I'm going to say e-tags don't run XSS based templates this time. Run every other template apart from XSS. So you can see it has started running these templates, but it is excluding XSS based tags from the scan. So I hope you guys understood how you can use the exclude filters into Nuclei while you're scanning your targets for the bug bounty programs. Thank you. Hello everyone, and welcome to this lesson. So now we are going to learn about Nuclei config or configuration. So what exactly is Nuclei config? This can be super useful for you if you want to set some configuration that should run by default when you start using Nuclei. What does that mean? If you want to save specific options, that could be a target, that could be a template, if you want to exclude severity, or specific templates need to be done, etc. You can set that into a configuration file, and Nuclei will always read that file to execute itself. Isn't that awesome? Yes. The default path of the Nuclei configuration file is inside your home directory, inside a .config hidden directory, Nuclei, called as config.yml. Let us see this quickly in the practical time. So I'm onto my terminal right now, and I'm going to open my configuration file now. So I'm going to say nano, the users in my system, the current user is Rohit. I'm going to go inside the config hidden folder for Nuclei, and I'm going to edit this file, which is config.yaml. For your system, you might need to change the username that could be specific for your system. Now, when I hit enter, you can see this is the Nuclei configuration file. You can specify the target, you can specify the list, new templates, automatic scan, template URLs, templates, workflows, etc. And that's really awesome. So let's try to play with this, the target URLs or host to scan. You can see currently this field is being commented with a hash. You have to remove that. And I'm going to specify a target here right now. Let's say, for instance, I'm going to use this target to show the request that we are going to send. I'm going to add this target over here, and let's save this file. Now, I do not need to specify any specific target. I'm just going to send a request right now. Let us just simplify a template for ease, because we do not want to send a lot of requests to this specific target. let's say technologies, nginx, and nginx version detect.yml. Let's hit enter. Let's go to the target and see what happened over here. And you can see, indeed, there was a request which came over here. The request was for nginx detection that has come over here. Let's try to send more requests from the technologies folder or the technologies path, and let's hit enter. You can see 312 templates have been loaded successfully. There is a issue that has been found under the technology detection. Let's go here and see what exactly is happening. And you can see a lot of request has been coming over here. As we can see, this is because of the templates that have been running on this specific target, which can be seen from here as well. And this will keep on increasing. Let me just reload this, and we would see more requests coming over here in just a matter of time, which you can see over here. This confirms that Nuclei is currently running and scanning those templates on the given target. So I hope you guys understood. I'm going to stop this right now, and we are going to go back to our configuration file to see the specific target that we hard-coded in our configuration file to run. You can also add a list of templates that needs to be run. For example, our php detect.yml template, the path can be specified here, which means every time this template would run when you start Nuclei by default on any target. Let's say you have identified a new issue. You can quickly create a template for that issue, supply a bunch of hosts that contains your domain name, subdomain names that would be tested automatically against this template. Keep in mind, you can supply as many as list of templates that you want with the help of comma as well. I hope you guys understood how effective the Nuclei configuration can be, and you should definitely use it and implement into your methodology. Thank you. Hello everyone, and welcome to this lesson. So in this lesson, we are going to see how you can supply a list of URLs instead of supplying one target, how you can supply bunch of hosts to Nuclei. To do that, we would require a bunch of hosts this time. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to use the tool subfinder to do subdomain enumeration. Now to set up subfinder, you can simply install Golang into your system and download subfinder using this command. Or else, you can simply go to the releases tab and you can download the compatible version for your system as well. So let us quickly run subfinder against a domain and identify a bunch of subdomains for that program. So I'm going to use nmap.org and I'm going to hit enter. When I do that, the output will be shown onto my screen. I want to save this output as well. So I'm going to specify -o, which stands for output, and I'm going to say nmap subs.txt and hit enter. Now you can see a message which says enumerating subdomains for nmap.org. You can see we have identified 35 such subdomains in 5 seconds and 734 milliseconds, which says it was real quick. Subdomains like scanme can be seen over here and so on. Now, if you look carefully, we have identified a bunch of hosts, but we don't know if these hosts are live or dead, because Subfinder uses passive subdomain enumeration technique, which is basically collection of these hosts from different data sources. So we would now validate how many of these hosts are live that can be supplied to Nuclei for vulnerability scanning. Nuclei requires the bunch of hosts as an input with a protocol that is HTTP or HTTPS. To do that, we are going to use another tool which is created by the same team, which is HTTPX. You can install this tool similarly using Golang, or else you can download the compatible version from assets from here for your system as well. So this time, let us pass these results that we have downloaded to HTTPX in the form of a list that can be specified with HTTPX-L and nmap subs.txt. Let's save these results into a file called as nmap subs live.txt. This would give us a good output of hosts which are live. As you can see, this has completed very quickly. Let us count how many hosts we have identified to be live. You can see 34 of these hosts were live. Now, how do we supply this to Nuclei? We can supply it using two ways. The first is as a standard input. So I'm going to read this file, which is the live.txt, and supply it directly to Nuclei for a specific template that I want to run. So let's say technologies and Nginx. I'll hit enter, and this will start running the specific template that I have supplied on the bunch of hosts, as you can see over here. The second way to do that is specifying Nuclei and specifying the list that we want with the help of -l nmap subs live.txt supply the template path, which is over here, and hit enter. And this would again start running that specific template on bunch of hosts that you have for any bug bounty program. It could be the list of subdomains or resolved IP addresses with a protocol and a port number as well. So I hope you guys understood how you can use Nuclei to scan a bunch of hosts or targeted domains and subdomains as well. Thank you. Hello everyone. So in this lesson, we are going to see how you can update your Nuclei version to the latest version directly from your terminal as well. In case you want to download the latest release with some bugs and fixes, you can simply go to the official GitHub repository and you can download the latest version or the latest binary into your system. But Nuclei also allows you to do that directly from the terminal itself. The command to do that would be nuclei space -update and hit enter. Nuclei will automatically check for the latest release and version and start updating itself automatically, as you can see on the screen right now. So it is updating itself, and in just a couple of seconds, it would update itself to the latest version. Always keep in mind, try to update Nuclei on the latest version because there are new changes, bug fixes, and added additions that come with the latest releases. So it is just about to get completed. Let us wait for a few more seconds and this would be done for us. As you can see now, Nuclei has been successfully updated to the latest version, which is 2.7.9. Similarly, you can update your Nuclei release if it is running still on an older version. Thank you. Hello everyone, and welcome to this lesson. So in this lesson, we are going to learn about Nuclei scan metrics. So what exactly is scan metrics? This can be super useful for you if you want to store and track the details of the scan that you're performing on any specific targets. Now, how to activate this specific flag? You can simply specify -metrics and Nuclei would now start saving the details of the scan that is currently ongoing. And the really awesome thing is that you can also track those metrics directly from your browser by going to localhost and a port number, which is 9092. So it is the practical time, and let's try to see how you can activate this specific flag and see the metrics in real time. So I'm going to start a scan quickly on a target URL, which is test.php. Let's specify a template. Let's say we run all the technologies-based templates over here. And you can see in total 312 templates have been loaded. Let's quickly go to localhost 9092/metrics and hit enter. And you can see the time duration, the errors that we have currently in running our scan, the number of hosts that we are currently running the scan on, which is one host, which is testphp.toolandweb.com, matched percentage, in total scan percentage, how many requests have been sent, started at, templates that have been loaded, total templates, etc. So you can see in real time, this keeps on updating the number of matched requests, total requests sent, and so on. And this can be super useful for us if you want to track these metrics, maybe save it into a file for a later period of time as well in real time. Let me just stop this. When you stop this, the server would also stop and you would no longer be able to track the metrics for a current scan that has been ongoing. Let us try to run this once again and let's try to load this once more. You can see one host again, matched 6, the time duration which is currently happening, and exactly the percentage and the request that has been sent from our system continuously. So I hope you guys understood this, how you can use effectively the metrics flag using Nuclei. Thank you. Hello everyone and welcome. So in this lesson, we are going to understand and tear down that how we can write nuclei templates. What are the most important parts or blocks of a nuclei template which is required to successfully validate that template and run it using nuclei. Now, when you come across targets and you're identifying new vulnerabilities, you definitely want to automate that and mass scale it against a lot of bug bounty programs. At that point of time, nuclei template writing can be super useful. So in this lesson, we will see that step by step how you can create your first nuclei template. To do that, we would have to understand the information that is inside the template that you have to provide, which is necessary to understand by the nuclei tool to run it against your target. So the first block that we are going to learn today in the template formation is the informational block. So it is the practical time. Let's quickly jump on and let's write the first template block. I've given the name as infoblock.yml. The first thing that we are going to specify is the ID. ID specifies the name of the template that you want to give. Let's give the name as nuclei info block. Next is the most important part, which is the info block. I'm going to specify name. Name is the name of the template that you want to give. Let us give the name as nuclei info block once again. Next is author. The author of the current template. So let's give the name as Hacktify CS. Next is the severity. Severity signifies that if this specific template would identify a high, medium, low, or a critical issue, or if you want to signify this specific vulnerability as which severity. So let us say currently keep this as info, which is informational. Next, let us give tags. Tags specify this template will be tagged as what. So let's say tech detection maybe, and let us also say info. Next, we're going to write about the description. So let's say description, write your description here. The next part is the reference. If you want to provide any reference from where you have learned about this specific template, you can give it here as well. So let's say I got to know about this specific vulnerability that I have researched for, or here is a specific blog or an article. You can specify that as well. That's it. So this is the ID and info block that creates the first part of your template that you need to write for. In our upcoming sessions of lesson, we are going to see how you can add step by step more parts into your template to successfully create a complete template that you can run with nuclei. So that's it for this lesson. Thank you so much. Hello everyone and welcome to this lesson. In this lesson, we are going to learn about base requests that are being used by nuclei from the nuclei template. As we have seen the info and the ID block, now we are going to understand about the request block. So the request block contains request methods. Now this could be different HTTP methods like get, post, put, delete, options, etc. You can also specify if you want a redirect to happen with the help of redirects. Each request should be given a path using a path colon. There are also dynamic path variables that you should keep in mind while you are going to write a custom nuclei template. As you can see over here on your left, here is the keyword. Here is the description for each keyword and the example as well. Let us understand the first one, which is the base URL. So whenever you see base URL in the template, it will replace the base URL variable with the input URL that you have supplied. So the example would look something like this. The second is the root URL, which replaces with the root URL that has been provided, not with the base URL or the endpoint. Next is the host name. So this replaces with the host name and the port number that you have supplied during the scan. An example would look something like this. Next is the host, which replaces only the host name, which is this. Port replaces the port number, which is like this. Path, which replaces with a path, for example, /test, a specific file, for example, example.txt, or if you want to replace or change the scheme, you can also do that with the scheme variable. So it is the practical time, and let's see how we can use dynamic variables in Nuclei templates. So as you can see over here, this is our ID and the info block. In the request block, we have specified the HTTP method as get. You can also see over here the dynamic path that we have provided. The first is the base URL, second is the root URL, then http://hostname, host, base URL : port, https://hacktify.in path, and then hacktify.in/file. What we are going to do right now is, for demonstration, I have hosted a file called as file1.txt inside a Nuclei path on bugbountyhunter.org. So you can also use this for practicing while you're creating your custom templates to validate if your custom templates are working correctly or no. Alright, so we are going to test against this target against file1.txt file and path Nuclei. I'm going to quickly go to my terminal and I'm going to say echo and the target with the path in the file both. I'm going to provide this as a standard input to Nuclei, and I'm going to run a template that we have created just now, which is request.yml, which is this template. Now let's provide this template to Nuclei and add -v. -v stands for verbose, which means we will be able to see what exactly is happening currently. Once we hit enter, you can see the first request has been sent correctly to this endpoint at file.txt. Let's open the request blocks as well and the terminal both. You can see the second request that was sent like this, which is, for the first one was the base URL, second is the root URL, next is the host name that was provided, next is the host which was provided as can be seen over here, the next is the port number, path and file. So let us see this as well. So this is the port number which automatically got added, this is the file path, and this is the file itself. So I hope you got a clear idea of dynamic variables of how it has been used while you can create the same thing in your Nuclei template. Thank you. Hello everyone and welcome. So in this lesson, we are going to see how you can configure Nuclei with one of the most used industry-wide tool for pen testing, which is burp suite. So I'm going to quickly start burp, and we are going to configure Nuclei for us at many times when we want to examine each request that has been sent. We want to intercept that request, modify the request headers, modify the endpoint, file path, etc. So let me just quickly set up burp suite. So burp has been starting. It will take a few seconds and we can see burp has successfully loaded. I'm going to go to the proxy tab, options, and I'm going to start burp to listen on port 8081. Let's go to Nuclei and we're going to specify a target quickly. So let's say I want to send a request this time to a target which is the same target that we have used previously. And this time I want to only provide one template which we have created, which was php detect.yml. Now I want to set the proxy so the request should pass through burp suite. So I'm going to provide that information and a port number that is 8081. Let's go in the HTTP history and we should see a request going through from here. Let me hit enter and you can see we were able to successfully see a request that has been passed through the proxy, which is amazing. Let's go over here. Let's click on this request and you are able to examine the request more. You can see the current request that was sent was with a get HTTP method to a file path, which is this. The host that was used is bugbountyhunter.org and other headers that can be seen over here, which is really amazing. You can simply send this request to repeater, hit send, play with this request, maybe modify some headers, modify a file path, modify parameters, etc. That can be super useful. So I hope you guys understood how you can configure Nuclei with a proxy, which is burpsuit, and use it to examine more of your request. Send it to repeater and play with this request to identify vulnerabilities. Thank you. Hi. So in this lesson, we are going to understand about headers, how we can specify Nuclei templates to use custom headers that you want, that you need to send along with your HTTP traffic while you are running Nuclei onto any bug bounty program. So headers can be defined using headers : they are placed in a key value format. That means an example header should look something like this, which is user agent : some random user agent. You can specify as many as headers you want in a specific request. And we know that while we are testing for specific vulnerabilities, modifying these headers can be super useful as well. So it's the practical time, and let's see how you can do it. I have written a template which is headers.yml that you can use. If you look carefully in this template, we have an ID block which says Nuclei headers block. We have an informational block which says name as Nuclei headers block and other basic information. The request block says the method as get. The path is the base URL that will be taken from the input that we will supply to Nuclei as a target. Now, this is the important part, which is the headers. You can see I have specified the user agent as Hacktify, X forwarded host as Hacktify.in, cache control as no transform, and I have also supplied a custom header, which is test header as hello world. Let's save this template that we have just created and pass it to Nuclei. This time, we are not going to use this old template, but instead, we are going to use the headers template that we have created. So I'm going to drop this template over here, and I'm going to hit enter. When I do that, the request will pass through the proxy, as we have already configured the proxy with Nuclei. So let's go in burp and see the second request that might have been received that we executed just now. Let me go to the proxy tab and HTTP history. You can see this is the second request that we have sent just now. If you look carefully here, this is the request that we have received with the get method. You can also see the headers that we supplied. You can see X forwarded host as Hacktify.in, test header as hello world, and cache control as no transform. This is exactly the same headers that we have written in our headers.yml file as a custom template that has been sent to the server. I hope you guys understood this. Thank you. Hi. So in this lesson, we are going to understand about the body. Nuclei template contains the body block, which is the most important part of the template. So what does body specify? It specifies the request body that needs to be sent along with the HTTP request that we are going to send to the server. The body is placed in a key value format. That means you can specify a header as body : admin equals to test. Also, to maintain sessions, we can reuse the cookies by supplying cookie reuse as true into your template. So let's jump on the practical time and let's see how we can do it. So I have written a body.yml template that we can read, which contains an ID block, which is Nuclei body block, information, as we can see over here, and the request, which says a get request should be sent of HTTP method type. The next part is the path, in which we can see the base URL, and this is the most important block that we have to see and focus, which is the body. In body, we can see we are supplying search equals to Apple. Now let's run this template and observe the response. So I'm just going to change the template this time, and the template that we are going to run is the body.yml and hit enter. You can see the template has run successfully without any errors. Let's go to Burp Suite and see the third request that we have captured right now. You can see this time Burp Suite has highlighted parameters in the third request. As you can see, a checkbox over here. Now these parameters are nothing but the body block that we have provided, which is search equals to Apple, wherein search is the parameter and Apple is the value supplied to that specific parameter. While creating custom Nuclei templates, it's very essential that we know how to write a body when we want to send a specific request while exploiting a vulnerability. Maybe you can supply a payload over here which allows you to read a file from the server. I hope you guys understood how you can use the body block in your Nuclei template and send it to the target. Thank you. Hi. So in this lesson, we are going to learn about raw requests. So what are raw requests? These are the requests that we generally see in our browser's network tab, or whenever you capture requests using Burp Suite or any other proxy tool, the requests are in the format of raw request. Now, you can also utilize these raw requests in your Nuclei template as well. The tool Nuclei supports raw request to be passed as well. Raw request can be defined using raw : in the Nuclei template. Raw request also supports various helper functions that we are going to see in future. Helper functions can help in manipulation of the input for different types of requests that you want to pass along with the template. So it's the practical time, and let's quickly see how you can specify a raw request in a template. So as you can see over here, I have written a raw request.yml file that you can see over here, which is basically a Nuclei template of raw request. This contains the ID block, information block, the request block, which says this time as raw. Then you have to specify it using this way, in which I'm specifying now the HTTP method to be post instead of get. Remember, you can also specify any HTTP method. It could be get, it could be put, options, patch, delete, etc. This is basically the sample or stock or default raw request that you would see anywhere. Now, the raw request says I'm going to send a post request to an endpoint which is post. The host is going to be the host name. A content type header is there, and a custom header has been added called as Hacktify header. Hacktify CS is the value of the header, and in the body we have specified search equals to Apple. Here, if you look carefully, we have not specified the body : block. Instead, we have used the entire raw request. Let's save this and let's run this as well on our target. This time, we are going to modify the current template to raw request.yml, and I'm going to hit enter. As we can see, we have configured the proxy already. Let's go in Burp Suite and let's see the next request that we have received. You can see the fourth request contains a parameter indeed, so I'm going to click on that. And if you look carefully, this is a post request. As you can see, Burp Suite also shows a raw request, which is exactly in the same format that we have supplied using Nuclei. We are sending a request to a specific endpoint, which is post. You can also see search equals to Apple, which was a part of our raw request, as can be seen from here. Once the request has been sent, we can see we got a response of 404 not found because there wasn't any endpoint like post. But I hope you guys got an idea of how Nuclei also supports sending raw request, and you can indeed create a template of raw request as well that can be super useful. Thank you. So in this lesson, we are going to understand about unsafe HTTP raw request. As we have already seen raw request, we will now see what are unsafe raw requests. So these unsafe raw requests are used for complete control and customization of the request that we are going to send to the bug bounty program's target. This allows us to use any kind of malformed request as well. This can be super useful if you are trying to approach for finding vulnerabilities like CRLF or HTTP request smuggling as well. We can enable this by using unsafe:true, through which Nuclei will automatically understand that we are trying to send an unsafe raw request. So in the practical time, let's quickly jump on the template and see how it can be written. So you can see I have written an unsafe raw request.yml template, provided the ID block, info block, requests, raw. We are going to send the same request once again, but this time in the header, we have specified that we are sending an unsafe HTTP request. And you can also see I have enabled the unsafe:true flag as well. All right, so let's send this request quickly. I'm going to remove the raw request and I'm going to save, and I'm going to send an unsafe raw request this time and hit enter. Let's go to burp suite and you can see we have received the unsafe raw request as well. As you can see over here, we are trying to send a post request with the method as post that we can confirm from here. And we can also see we are sending a request to a specific endpoint post with a custom header, which is Hacktify header, Hacktify unsafe HTTP search equals to Apple in the body. And you can see we got an error which says bad request because this is an unsafe raw request that we have created. As I said previously, this can be super useful in identifying request smuggling or CRLF based issues. Thank you. Hi. So in this lesson, we are going to understand about simple get based matcher. Here, we are going to see how you can write your quick template that can match something in the body of your bug bounty program or the target that you're going to send a request on. So as you can see on the screen right now, here's a sample get based matcher in the body. Let us see practically how we can also do this. So I have written a template that I'm going to use right now that you can see in front of you. I have given the name to the template as simple get.yml, as you can see over here. This is the ID block. Next is the info block, then the request block, which says that the request type is get request, which is going to a specific endpoint, which is Nuclei testing header.php. There's a matches condition, and I'm saying I want to match a word type, and the words is going to be Apple. The condition is and, which means there is one more matching condition that should be matched for a successful output, which is a status code. And the status that I want to match is 200. Okay. Let's save this and let's run this template. Before we run this, let me go to my browser and you can see onto this specific endpoint, which is Nuclei testing header.php, there is something written which is Apple in the body. So this should get matched. I'm going to quickly run Nuclei now with the template that we have written on the target that we have just created, and we will also send this request via the proxy that we have configured with burp suite. I'm going to hit enter and let's wait for this to run. You can see the template was successfully run without any errors, and you can see one template was loaded. We are also able to match this, which means this was successful. As you can see over here, let's run this once more with -v, and you can see it was again successful for when a HTTP request was sent. Let's go to burp suite and let's see what happened in burp suite exactly. So you can see the latest request that we have sent, in which you can see a HTTP method get was used to send a request to this specific endpoint, and you can see in the response Apple, and we are exactly matching the same thing in our template as well, as can be seen over here. So I hope you guys understood how you can write a quick template in which a simple get based matcher can be performed in the body. Thank you. Hi everyone. So in this lesson, we are going to learn about simple get based matcher in the header. As you can see on your screen, we have a sample template in which we can see this is a simple get based matcher template which matches something in the header value. From here, as we can see, the matches condition specify a end. A matches type is a word which is apple, which is in the header. And there's a condition and one more which says to match a status code which is 200 OK. So it is the practical time, and let's quickly see this. So I have already written a template, so I'm going to show you that template real quick. As you can see over here, this is the template of simple get based matcher which is specified in the ID block. Second block is the information block, as we can see over here, which also specifies the basic detail about the template. The next part is the request block, in which we can see we are sending a get based request to a path of the base URL that has been supplied as an input to an endpoint which is Nuclei testing header.php. And the final part of the matches condition, with a matches condition is and matches type word matching apple, but this time not in the body, instead in the header, and successfully matching a status code 200 OK to give us an output. So let us see this. So for testing, we're going to use this specific target. Let's go back to our terminal and let's specify this. So we will quickly change our template, which is simple get header.yml. As you can see, we have supplied Nuclei and the target URL. The template also have been specified over here, and we are passing this request via proxy. We can also see we have added a flag which is -v, which stands for verbose output. Let's hit enter. And you can see we were successfully able to match and get an output over here, which means the matching condition was successful. Let's quickly go in burp and let's see the request that was sent. Let's go in the HTTP history and let's pick the last request that was sent. We can see over here a get request is sent, nothing in the body. As we can see over here, the header name is new header and the value of which is apple, and which has been successfully matched. Let's go back over here and see. We can confirm the matching condition was successful. If you also specify -debug, you would be able to see that as well, that apple has been matched successfully in the new header value that has been supplied. So this template works absolutely fine by matching the header as well as the status code. So I hope you guys understood that how you can also write a simple get based matcher header template. Thank you. Hi everyone. So in this lesson, we are going to understand about simple post based matcher. So far, we have learned about how we can send and match get based request, but now we are going to understand and learn about post based requests and how to match them. So this specific lesson focuses on post based matcher in the body. So you can see on the screen currently, there is a sample template in which we can see that the method that has been used is post, and we are matching a condition apple in the matches condition block, which has been supplied in the body. So it is the practical time, and let us see how we can do this practically. So I have already written a simple post body.yml template, as you can see over here. So let's understand this template quickly. The first is the ID block. The second is the info block, which says the name of the template, which is simple post-based matcher in the body. The most important part comes here now, which is the request block, in which we can see we have changed the method from get to post, which means we are going to submit a form data. The path is the base URL /nuclei test_post.php. You can see we are also supplying a body in which we are giving a parameter called as search and a value which is apple. As we can see over here, and we have learnt already that body is always in the form of a key pair value. We are also supplying some headers over here. You can see a content length header, content type header, and an accept header over here. Let's see the matches condition now. In the matches condition, we have specified that we want to match two conditions. The first matcher is a word type, which is Apple, and the second one is the status code, which is 200. Okay. Look carefully, we are matching the word, which is Apple, in the body. So let's save this quickly and let's run this template on our target. Now, for testing that this template has been created correctly or no, you can always go back to YML lint, paste your template over here and see this green valid YML message. If you get that message, which means your template is correct and valid without any errors. Now we are going to use this template over here at this endpoint, which is nuclei test_post.php. Here we can see that there is a search box. So I'm going to search here something. So let's say I search for Apple. When I do that, you can see a reflection that we get, which gives us a message, which means you searched the results for Apple. Let's capture this request as well. So I'm going to quickly go in my Burp Suite, open the browser. Let me start the intercept on. Let me search for Apple again. And you can see a request was successfully captured. This is a post request to a specific endpoint that we are currently sending a request to. And in the body, you can see search equals to Apple. Let's send this request to repeater. Let's see the response for this. We can see we got a 200 response and exactly the same output that we saw on our browser, which gives us the result saying your searched results for Apple. Nice. Let us change this to Batman and let's hit send. And you can see we get the output as we have searched for Batman. All right. So let us test our template now. So let's go to HTTP history. And let's run our template that we have written. Let's save this template. The name of the template is simple_get.yml. Let's go to the terminal. The template name is simplepostbody.yml. So we're going to specify the same name and hit enter. Let's wait for this to run, and you can see we were successfully able to find based on the matches condition that we have specified in our template. Let us also debug this and hit enter. Here you can see this is the output of debug, in which we can see the protocol response variables. You can see the curl command, the matched condition, the host name for which the request was sent, the header, date, body, server, fully qualified domain name, scheme HTTP used, top level domain org, port 80, status code 200, etc. So this is additional information that you can see that has been sent in the background, which can be seen with the help of -debug flag. Let's scroll down and see. You can see this is the HTTP response, and in the response, it has successfully matched Apple in the body. Let's go back to Burp Suite and let's see the request here as well. We can see the new request over here that was sent via Nuclei, which was a post request, which had search equals to Apple in the template itself. And we can see it successfully matched Apple over here as well. So I hope you guys understood that how you can write quickly your first post-based matcher body template. Thank you. Hi. So in this lesson, we are going to see a simple post-based matcher, but this time in the header. The matching condition is going to match the specified input in the header that we want to search for to get a successful output. As you can see on your screen, here's a sample template that we can see. This is a simple post-based matcher in the header, wherein we can see the method is post. This is the path for which we are sending the request. The body contains a key value pair. In the matches condition, it is specified that we want to match for a word Apple, but it should be in the header, as you can see, which has been specified by part header. And we are also matching a status code 200. Okay. So it is the practical time and let's see how we can do this practically. So I have written a template over here, as you can see, which is simple post header.yml. It has the ID block, the info block, which says simple post based matcher header, request block, which contains the method as post. You can see we are adding search equals to Apple in the body. We are also supplying 3 headers over here. Let's quickly see the matches condition. We have set the matches condition to be and we are matching a word Apple in the header and matching successfully a status score which is 200. Okay. So let's run this as well. Now let's quickly change the template, as we are using simple post header.yml, and let's hit enter. Once we do that, you can see invalid field format for ID. Allowed format is this. Okay, let's quickly check this. In the ID, let's not give spaces over here. And let's run this once more. You can see successfully we supplied one template and we are able to match the output as well. And we have got the output correctly over here. Let's debug this and hit enter. And you can see in the output as well, we were able to match this Apple keyword in the new header. Let's check this quickly in burp as well. So this is the request that we have captured. You can see it was a post request based on the custom template that we have written. Search equals to Apple was supplied in the body. There were 3 headers that were also supplied, as can be seen over here. In the response, we can see we got a 200, okay? And the most important part, which you can see, is the new header. So the new header contains a value which is Apple, which was successfully matched, and we got the successful output like this. This means if you also want to match something in the header, and if it's a post request, you can write a similar template that would look something like this. So I hope you guys understood this. Thank you. Hello everyone, and welcome to this lesson. In this lesson, we are going to understand that with the help of Nuclei, we can also perform fuzzing. This can be super useful for us if we are trying to fuzz the parameters for some default usernames and default passwords. This helps us identify security misconfigurations on multiple targets, subdomains, etc. if they are running on default username or password. We can also use this to fuzz for URL endpoints as well. In this specific lesson, we are going to understand how you can run various types of payload using Nuclei. We will be using the payload from a word list file, or we can also use a normal list file. Payloads can be defined in the Nuclei templates with the help of payloads : So the first fuzzing technique that we are going to see is cluster bomb. So what exactly is cluster bomb? Let's assume we have a signed in page which has a username field and a password field. In cluster bomb technique, we are going to take one value from the word list and supply it in the username, one value from the password and supply into the password. Similarly, for the next attempt, we are going to take again the first value itself and the second password from the word list. Similarly, first username, third password, first username, fourth password, and so on. So we are using different combinations to fuzz the application to identify if we are successfully able to authenticate into an application with the help of cluster bomb technique. In simple terms, we fix the payload 1 and we iterate for payload 2, and we do that continuously for payload 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. So it is the practical time, and let's understand how exactly we can use the cluster bomb fuzzing technique with the help of Nuclei. So you can see over here, this is the target that we are going to use for testing. I'm onto an endpoint which is nuclei/fuzzingtest.php. Here you can see I have supplied a username as admin. I'm going to supply a password as test and hit on login. When I do that, if you look very carefully in the request, The username parameter contains the username that was supplied. The password parameter contains the password that I just supplied. And there is a login button, which is equals to login. You will be able to see the same thing when we capture this request in Burp Suite as well. You can see as the password was incorrect, we got a failed login attempt. Let us change this to Batman and hit enter. And you can see this was again a failed login attempt. Let us try the default password as admin itself and hit enter. And you can see the password admin was correct. And we got a message which is success. Great. Now we are going to write a custom template that we can use for fuzzing. So as you can see over here, I have written fuzzingclusterbomb.yml template. Let's quickly understand how does this template look like and how you can also write your own templates. The first is the ID block, which contains the name of the template. Next is the info block, which contains basic information about the template. Next is the request block. I'm using a raw HTTP request right now. You can see the HTTP method is get. I'm sending a request to this specific endpoint, and we have seen the same thing in our browser as well. Username equals to, we don't know the username, so we are going to specify that as parameter A. We don't know the password, so we are going to specify the password field or the password parameter as parameter B, and login equals to login. Let's see the same thing over here once again. Username equals to parameter A, password equals to parameter B, and login equals to login. Let's go back over here. This is the same request as it is. Let's go and check the payloads. In the payload block, you can see we have specified that parameter A should contains or should read the word list, which is usernames.txt. Parameter B should read passwords.txt. The attack type that we are going to use is cluster bomb. And finally, the matches condition, which is and. We are going to match a word in the body, which is success, that we have seen just now over here. And we should also see a status code of 200. Okay. Let us see how we can run this template and are we able to successfully identify the correct username and password. So I'm going to save this template quickly and go to my terminal. I'm going to specify the target URL, which is http://bugbountyhunter.org. I'm going to specify the template as well. So the template is over here. I'm going to drag and drop this template here. And then we need to specify -p, which stands for proxy. That means I want to see and capture this request from Burp Suite as well. Let us see with -v flag what exactly happens when we run this template. Now remember, when we are running fuzzing, we require usernames.txt and passwords.txt that we have given in our template. So let's create that as well. So now I'm going to say nano usernames.txt and we are going to create a quick word list. Let's give the password as demo, tomcat, hacktify, password, admin, hero, hacker, I love you, and hacking. These are some of the most default passwords. Let's copy this file to passwords.txt as well. So now we have two files which are our word list. So let's run this template now. So I'm going to specify nuclei -u, the target, the template that we have written just now, which is fuzzingclusterbomb.yml and -v. Now let us also read quickly the username.txt file. Oops. Let us read the username.txt file, and we have similarly a password.txt file as well. So we are going to use these two word lists for fuzzing. Let's hit enter and let us see the output. As you can see over here, the fuzzing has started successfully. The first request has been sent, and you can see in the username, demo was used as a username and password demo. In the username tomcat, demo, Hacktify and password as demo, username password and password as demo, and so on. So you can see this is because of the cluster bomb technique that we are using, in which we are keeping one payload position as fixed and reiterating the second one. So let's wait for this to complete. And you can see in between itself, we were successfully able to match and get the output over here, wherein the username supplied is admin and the password supplied is also admin over here, which is the parameter A and parameter B. Absolutely correct. Let us stop this and let's run this once more without -v. So this will keep on running the cluster bomb fuzzing in the background for the parameter A and parameter B, which is basically username and password, with our two word list that we have created. Once it identifies that the username password has correctly worked, based on the matcher condition that we have written, which is success, it will give us the output that result found. As you can see on your screen right now, we were successfully able to identify the correct username and password. I hope you guys understood this. Thank you. Hello everyone, and welcome to this lesson. As we are understanding about nuclei fuzzing, in this lesson we are going to see the second technique, which is pitchfork. So what is pitchfork exactly? It means that it iterates all the payloads simultaneously. That means username, first payload from usernames.txt for the password field, password from the password.txt file. So one by one, simultaneously, it will keep on iterating all the payloads. So it is the practical time, and let's quickly see how we can perform fuzzing using pitchfork. So I have written a template over here, which is fuzzing pitchfork. This is the info block. Let's quickly jump on the request block. So this is a HTTP raw request, a post request that can be seen over here, which is going to the same endpoint. Nothing has been changed over here. What has been changed is the attack type. We have changed the attack type from cluster bomb to pitchfork, and we keep the same matching condition as success as a word in the body and status code as 200. Let's go to terminal and let's run the same scan with the new custom template that we have written right now, which is pitchfork. And let's add -v to this and hit enter. Now you can see the new word list that we created has been loaded. The username is demo, the password is demo, username Tomcat, password Tomcat, username Hacktify, password Hacktify. So we can see over here, one by one, each username has been taken from the username.txt, each password has been taken from the password.txt, and the iteration keeps on going simultaneously until it identifies the correct username and password, as can be seen over here. So we can see over here, the parameter B is admin, which is the password, and parameter A is admin, which is the username, which has been successfully found. Let's run this once more without supplying -v, and let's wait for the output to complete. Now, it would quickly identify the correct username and password while fuzzing and give us the result in this format. If you want to see what exactly is happening behind the hood, or you want to capture the request in Burp Suite as well, you can also do that. So I'm going to specify the proxy quickly. All the requests should pass through my Burp proxy, which is running on 8081. Now remember, each request that would be passed would be a username password combination simultaneously. Let's hit enter and let's go over here. And you can see continuously request has been sent over here. Let us pick one of the requests and we can see username passed as hacking, password passed as hacking, which is an incorrect username and password. Hence, we would get a failed message. The correct username is admin and the correct username is password, which might have been passed in one of the requests from here. So let's see that as well. You can see in this request, admin and admin has been passed and the result is success. So this way you can also write a fuzzing template based on the attack that we have used right now, which is pitchfork. I hope you understood. Thank you. In this lesson, we are going to understand about the third fuzzing technique, which is known as battering ram. So what is battering ram? This fuzzing technique only supplies or only supports a single payload set. When you supply that payload using a word list, it uses the same payload for all the positions that have been added in our custom template. So it is the practical time, and let's see how you can use the technique, which is battering ram. So you can see over here, I have written a YML template, which is a Nuclei template named as fuzzing underscore battering ram.yml, which can also be seen in the ID block. This is the information block. Let's see the request block. This is a HTTP raw request. We can see over here, this is a post request. Here, as we are using a battering ram fuzzing technique, we can only specify one payload position. So let's assume I already know the username for this web application. The username is admin. I don't know the password. So I'm going to specify a parameter underscore a over here, and rest are the headers. You can also see the host has been supplied to the host name. Let's scroll down to the payloads part. In the payloads block, we can see we have supplied and said parameter a is password.txt word list, which means each password from the word list should be replaced automatically at this position, which is parameter a. And we have said already that parameter a is the value of the password parameter. The matches condition remains the same, that we want to match success as a word in the body, and we also want to match end status, which is 200. Okay. So let's run this template and let us see the output. So I'm going to go to my terminal quickly. And I'm going to specify battering ram.yml. I'm also going to specify -v to show what exactly is happening behind. You can see over here, the first request contains the username as admin and password as demo. The second password is tomcat. The third password is hacktify. Fourth is password, and so on. Here, in this specific request, we are able to successfully identify the correct username that we already knew and supplied, but the password was found using fuzzing technique, using this specific technique. And you can see the parameter a equals to admin is the correct one, and hence we are able to get this output. You can also examine the same thing in these requests as well. You can see this is the specific request that was sent, in which the admin username was already known and was hard-coded in the template, but we first, for this specific position, which is password equals to, and we successfully got a success message. So I hope you guys understood that how you can use battering ram fuzzing technique to fuzz targets. Thank you. Hello and welcome to this lesson. In this lesson, we are going to understand about race conditions. Race conditions are amazing. We can definitely identify these category of vulnerabilities on web applications, which could lead to business logic issues as well. And we all know that business logic issues are generally least identified by security researchers and bug bounty hunters because they are sometimes harder to test. But with the help of Nuclei, we can indeed test for race conditions as well. So we are going to learn that how you can write your own template that can help you assist in testing for race conditions if a web application has been vulnerable to this vulnerability. So race conditions is when multiple threads read and write the same variable. A very common example is while using a coupon code, which only has a one-time validity. For example, if you have a coupon code of $10 and if you are able to redeem it 10 times, you have $100 added into your account. Now this directly impacts the organization and creates a business loss. So race conditions can be implemented using gate mechanism. Example, turbo intruder in Pursuit as well. Now we are going to see in the practical time that how you can quickly write a template that can assist you in identifying race conditions. So let's quickly go to the target first. As you can see over here, the target is test race.php. Here you have to enter the coupon code. Once you enter the coupon code correctly, you are able to redeem it. So I have written a race condition template that will help us in checking if the target is vulnerable to race condition or no. So the template is racecondition.yml. This is the ID block. Next is the info block. Next is the request block, which contains the method as post, as we want to send a coupon code and check if it is valid or no. This is the path in which we are specifying the base URL, and this is the endpoint where we want to redeem our coupon. In the body, we have supplied the coupon code as Hacktify10CS, maybe to redeem $10. We have supplied race as true, which means we want to perform race condition testing, and race count as 10, which means we want to send 10 simultaneous requests together. In the matcher condition, we are expecting a response of a status code that is 200 OK, and based on this, we would match it. You can also add matches condition which says redeem successful or successful as well. Let's save this template quickly. Let's go to our terminal. Here, we are going to say we want to send this request. The template name that we have written. So Nuclei, we have specified our target URL. The template that we have just written, which is racecondition.yml and -v. Observe very carefully. When I hit enter, the request has been sent simultaneously. If you can look over here, the timestamp. If you look carefully at the timestamp, the timestamps are exactly the same. That means 10 simultaneous requests were sent together to redeem the coupon, from which you can see these many requests were successful. These weren't successful. The next ones were also successful. So the web application, if allowed us to redeem the coupon, we could have redeemed it multiple times. I hope you guys understood how you can use the race condition feature in Nuclei by writing a custom template like this that can assist you in identifying business logic issues on bug bounty program as well. Thank you. Hello everyone. As we are discussing about race conditions, let's see a HackerOne report for this vulnerability. As you can see over here, race condition allows to redeem multiple times gift card, which can lead to free money. Interesting. So you can see the security researcher was able to identify a race condition on this website at an endpoint which is redeem. This is the raw request that can be seen, which is a post request sent to an endpoint which is FI redeem. In the body, you can see there is a token which says gift card. Once he was able to send this request multiple times using Turbo Intruder, he was able to see a 200 OK multiple responses, as can be seen over here. If we count this, this is equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So he was able to successfully get or redeem his gift card 7 times. As you can see over here, he used one coupon, but he was able to redeem it multiple times. And this indeed is known as race condition. As you can see, he was rewarded with a handsome amount of bounty for this issue. So let us try to replicate the same issue again, or let us at least understand how you can write your own custom Nuclei template for an issue like this. So let's first quickly understand the raw request. So this is a post method to this endpoint with this body. So I'm going to copy this and go to our Sublime text. I have created a block which is ID race condition info, and in request, as we are using a raw request, I have used raw, and I have added the request over here. Here, just for testing, I'm adding the token value as test coupon 10, and we are keeping the race count as 10. Let us just try to see and match how many 200 OK requests we get when we try to redeem this. Now keep in mind, as we have not created an account on this website, we do not supply a CSRF token, the request might not go through, but still you would learn how you can write a quick template for testing the same issue. Let's go to the browser. This is the endpoint which still works, as you can see, where you can redeem your Reverb gift card. Let's run this quickly on our terminal and let's see the output. So I'm going to save this template and I'm going to say nuclei-u. Let's provide the target. So the target that we are going to supply is this. We need to supply the protocol. Let us supply the template that we have created right now. So the template that we have created is racedemo.yml, and let's hit enter. You could see all those requests would go simultaneously all together. We can see all the requests were sent together, and for none of the requests we got a 200 OK. And that's okay because we did not create an account and did not supply a valid CSRF token, but that's fine. But you got an idea of how you can also write your own custom race condition template using this technique. Thank you. Hello everyone. So in this lesson, we are going to understand about Nuclei file-based templates. We have seen so far that with the help of Nuclei, we are able to create templates and send it for HTTP request and responses. But with the help of Nuclei, we can not only send HTTP request, but we can search for files as well. This is really amazing when you have a bunch of code, a bunch of files, and you want to search and match or extract specific words. So all Nuclei templates using the file block starts from file : Nuclei file template extensions are also there, which means you can match specific extensions with a particular file as well. If you want to match for all, you can specify -all, which will match all extensions, or else you can specify extensions : py, go, txt, etc. Matches are the keywords that match a particular content inside any file. So there are two types of matches in file-based templates. The first one is the word and the second one is a regex. Both matcher types match in the entire request and response. Word matches the exact same word in the whole file, in the whole word, whereas regex matches for a regex word into that file. There are some other options that you can use while you're running a file-based template, which is max size, which allows to provide a limit of the size file that Nuclei can read. If I don't want to read a file which is greater than 5 MB, you can specify that as well. No recursive disables recursively enumeration of files and folders inside multiple directories. So it is the practical time, and let's see how you can use this. So currently I'm onto my terminal and I have created some files inside the files folder. Let's go over there and let's see some files. You can see file 1, file 2, file 3, 4, and 5. All right. So now we are going to write our first file-based template. Let's give it a name as file_txt.yml. The ID block be simple file matcher. This is the information block. And now this would not contain request block, instead would contain a file block. So file : we only want to match extensions of file that have txt. You can replace this with all as well if you want to match all the files. Currently, let's stick to txt only. I'm also specifying the max size as 1024 only. In the matches, I'm also specifying the word type that I want to match, which is apple. So this would find the word apple in the files as a whole word. So let's run this. So I'm going to specify Nuclei and the template that we have written. So the template name is file_txt.yml. Let's specify the target as well, which is our files folder, and let's hit enter. Once we do that, you can see we were successfully able to find apple matches into file 1 and file 3. Let us also run this in verbose mode. So let's run it in verbose mode first. And you can see it successfully matched in file 1 and file 3. Let's run this in debug mode only. And you can see this is the response that we have got. Here we can identify that it matched Apple in file 3 at line number 5. Excellent. Here we can see file 1 at line number 1, Apple was matched successfully. This can be super useful if you want to identify hard-coded usernames, passwords, API keys, tokens, etc. in multiple files as well. So I hope you guys understood how you can use file-based templates. In our upcoming lesson, we are going to see how we can not only match for a specific word, but extract it as well. Thank you. Hello everyone, and welcome to this lesson. As we are seeing file-based templates, and we have seen how matcher works, in this lesson, we are going to see how extractor works. This is basically that you want to match a specific word and extract it as well. For example, if we are matching API key, I want to extract the API key from the file as well, not only the word API key. This can be super useful to identify secret or hidden sensitive information that have been hard-coded generally into source code. So extractors are the keywords that extract some content from the provided files. There are two types of extractors. The first one is the word and the second one is regex. Both extractors extract from the entire request and response that we are going to send. So it is the practical time, and let's jump on the practical. Here you can see I have written a file extractor.yml template. As you can see over here, the ID block and the information block remains the same. Here in the file block, we can see I'm matching for the extensions which are only txt. The max size is 1024. And here, instead of matcher, we have specified as extractors. We are extracting a regex, and this is the specified regex that we have supplied. If you're not familiar with how regex works, you can simply go to this website, which is regex101.com, and you can paste your regex over here. Here we can see this matches the character A. Here, A to Z means it matches a single character in the range between A to Z. And 4 is a quantifier, which matches the previous token value exactly 4 times. Let's run this and see what is the output that we will receive. So I'm going to go to my terminal, and quickly I'm going to change the template that we want to run. We have written a file extractor template, and we are going to supply it to Nuclei, and our target is going to be the folder which is files. Let's hit enter and let's wait. You can see over here we are able to successfully extract the word as well, which is Apple. Similarly, you would be able to extract more sensitive information that you want from the files as well. For demonstration, let us take an example of this. I'm going to download this GitHub repository, which is known as GitHub leak, which contains a secret.js file and which also contains a secret.yml file, which contains some information over here that might be useful for me. So I'm going to quickly git clone this into this path. And let us run the file extractor template once again, but this time on GitHub leak folder. Before we start running this, we will make a small change because we are only matching extensions of txt. Let's change that to all. Let's run this once more. And you can see once we run it, we are able to identify these places as matched in the GitHub leak folder inside these files, as can be seen from here. Thank you.